minutes late, but I'm here. I made it. Welcome to Tea and Tarot Tuesday. Woo! It's a party. Party up in here.
I heard there was punch and pie.
Punch and pie? Punch and pie. I'll give you a punch and pie. Punch in the pie.
It was one croissant, boy.
So I came back with a croissant addiction from France, and Rocky got into my croissants this morning, and I was like, "You live dangerously, my friend."
To be fair, it was yesterday morning.
Oh, it was yesterday morning. Hi, Ray. Hi, Montel. Hi, guys. Hi, guys. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late. I was changing cat litters for like 2 hours and lost track of time, and then had to hurry up and put my face on. It's the first time I've worn makeup since last Tuesday. So, hi, guys. Hey. Ooh, Rocky's bringing me my tea. Which one is this? This the chai?
The chai concoction tea.
This is my chai. Yeah. So this is my special recipe. I'm a spoiled brat, and I actually add extra cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger to my tea, to my chai tea. So get you guys some tea, or if you don't drink tea, something else. See, I told you, special guest Rocky. He saw the announcement this morning and was like, "So well, I guess I'm a special guest on your show." And I was like, "Bitch, you know you can't help yourself. You know you're gonna be up in this camera. I ain't even like front." And he's like, "I knew you were gonna be off, and I knew you were gonna be in the video." And he was like, "Yeah."
Psychic, folks.
Hi guys, how you doing? Come on in, get settled in, get comfy. We're gonna be here for a little while. The last one lasted, what, 2.5 hours? Woo, boy. So, I'm just gonna kind of be silly and do some different things, and then the second half of this, I will be doing readings for those people that tip me. If you wish to tip me, see if I can set you down. There we go. So if you wish to tip me, I will do an in-person live on the video reading for you. And if you want a private reading, my private readings are $25. So, but you can tip me however much you want, and I will do a reading for you live. But in the meantime, I wanted to share some favorite books of mine. This is a girlfriend of mine, Melissa Sonova. And she wrote the Kitchen Table Tarot and Tarot Elements. So if you are new to tarot or just getting into tarot, these books are amazing. So Kitchen Table Tarot, I know it's mirrored for you guys, I'm sorry. And Tarot Elements, they're really, really good. She's very direct and to the point, and I really, really enjoy her writing. As well. And funny story, the way we became friends is I had a booth right next to her at Pagan Picnic, and I had been following her tarot blog for a couple of years. At that point, she was Little Fox Tarot, and I don't know, she was something before that. And I'd been following her tarot blog for years and years. And when I found out that that was her next to me, I like totally fangirled over her and was like, "Oh my God, I've been following your blog forever." So she's a really good, amazing author, amazing human being. She's based in St. Louis, so you know, local crowd. And these are published through Llewellyn. So if you're interested in getting into tarot or expanding your tarot knowledge, I just wanted to give these a shout out because she's an amazing person, and she has no idea that I'm doing this, just so y'all know. So just to show you guys these guys, her third book, I can't remember the name of it because I'm a terrible human being, is coming out this year, I think in the fall, and it's a 3-book series. So get on it while you can. I've got some autographed editions because I'm extra. But like I said, she's based here in St. Louis. So you'll be able to see her at all of the pagan events and stuff. Okay. So I wanted to give you guys an option. I'm going to wave to everybody. Hi, thank you all for tuning in. So I'm going to give you some options. I've got a couple of different oracle decks, and then I also have, did you guys like the zombie deck last week? Because I can do the zombie reading again for like the weekly reading. If you like that, I can also bring out my Tarot of the Cat People or something else. Oh, I also have a vampire deck if you would rather have that. So let me know down in the comments, do you want zombies or vampires for the tarot reading? And then do you guys want the Bad Bitch Oracle that I picked up in UK? It's actually called Dark Goddess, but I call this the Bad Bitch Oracle. Or I also have the Shadow and Light Oracle and the Halloween Oracle. These are only the three Oracle decks that I have. So let me know which one you guys want first, and pick one Oracle and one Tarot, by the way. So just this week we're gonna do one Oracle and one Tarot. So let me know which one you're interested in. So last week we talked about the difference between Oracle cards and Tarot cards, and there's a bunch of different divination methods. You can read tea leaves, you can you cast rune stones, which I also have runes. I'm probably going to do runes next week though, because that's going to require a little bit more preparation for me, because I haven't read runes in like 10 years or so. So I'm going to have to actually like have a book on that and do some study for the runes. But yeah, so I wanted to tell you about Melissa's books. I wanted to give you an option. Which Oracle deck would you like? I'm going to pull one card from an Oracle deck, and then I'm going to do a 3-card reading from either the Vampire Tarot or the Zombie Tarot, because I feel like we're in this pandemic, so let's get spooky with it, right? And then I have my Rider-Waite deck for those of you that are actually interested in having a live reading during this viewing right now. So, and I do those at the end, basically. So when I run out of stuff to just ramble on about, that's when I start doing the readings. Okay. So to quickly go over what we went through last week, because there's a lot more of you guys watching today than there was last week, is Oracle decks are different than tarot. So a tarot deck, the Zombie Tarot, is based, most of them are based off of the Rider-Waite system. So the Rider-Waite system came out, I don't know, I'm not sure. This was like the first big major system. It came out, it's based off of the Golden Dawn. And it came out at the turn of the century. There were tarot decks before that. There was the Messiah Tarot and a couple of other different styles of tarot, the Leonard. But they didn't get quite as popular as this update did. And now most of the theme decks like this one and a lot of the other tarot decks you're going to see out there are based off of the Rider-Waite system. That means that if you can read with the Rider-Waite system, you can pretty much read with any deck out there. And that's one of the benefits of learning tarot, and that each deck has different personalities. That was another thing we talked about last week, about how the different decks have different personalities, and for different types of readings, I'll pull a different type of deck. Which is why I kind of like the idea of doing the Zombie Tarot for what's going on right now in our universe, because of the joke of it being the zombie apocalypse, and that we're all locked in our houses and all of that stuff. And it's hot today. Oh my Lord. So for my UK friends, it is 30 degrees Celsius. It got up to 87 degrees Fahrenheit. It is April 7th. It's freaking hot. I want to go back to the UK where it wasn't this hot all the time. So, the other thing we talked about last week was oracle cards and how oracle cards are different. So each oracle card has its own little book and its own little system of how it works. And these are better, in my opinion, again, this is always my opinion, these are better for self-meditation.
Well, that's your opinion.
These are better for self-meditation and things of that nature. So that if you're looking for some introspection and some advice on your personal path, an oracle card is going to be better for that. And we'll see what that means. So none of you guys are telling me what... Hi, Amanda. Hi, guys. Maybe you are telling me and I didn't scroll up. Hold on. Yes, you were right, Quaid. Pamela Coleman did get robbed on the Rider-Waite deck. She did all of the artwork. You were totally right. So all of the artwork on the Rider-Waite deck is Pamela Coleman's art. And, of course, the two white men that wrote the book, not the art, get all the credit for this. But he also paid her, like it was his concept, because he was in the Golden Dawn and she was just a hired artist. And that's kind of one of the things that happens as a hired artist. Nowadays, it's called ghostwriting. That's essentially what she was doing. And so that's part of the reason why she doesn't get as much credit as she should, and why it's not known as the Pamela Coleman deck, because he hired her to do the drawings and like told her what to put in each on all of the drawings, if you understand what I'm saying. So it was his content. But yes, you are right. Pamela Coleman Smith, which it does say backwards for you guys, but it does say in the back of this deck that she is the original artist for the Rider-Waite deck. Okay, so it looks like no one is really giving me an opinion on what kind of oracle deck. So I'm just gonna go with the Dark Goddess Tarot. This is the tarot, Dark Goddess Oracle. This is the oracle deck that I picked up at the Left Hand Path Consortium in the UK. It is a British publisher deck. It is not available in the US. As we talked about, I think the deck is super cool, but I also think the art is super cheesy because I do not like CGI art. I'm an art snob. And I'll probably say that every time I break out this deck because the CGI art really bothers me.
CGI, mofo, CGI.
It really bothers me. So there's so many good artists out there, and to see really bad cheesy CGI is just like, you obviously cut corners somewhere, and that's where they cut the corners, right? Okay. So I call this my bad bitches oracle deck. It's officially known as the Dark Goddess Oracle deck, but I like to call it the Bad Bitches Oracle deck. I'm dropping shit everywhere. Dark Goddess Oracle cards, and this is by Kate Osborne. It's a UK publisher. Hey guys, hi. All the people signing in, hi. So,
Hi, peoples. I didn't eat a croissant this time.
You can hear Rocky in the background, maybe. He's yelling from across the room. All right, so we're going to grab this card. What is this one? This is Arachne, and she says hubris. So I think this is actually really interesting in that I was listening to a podcast earlier. So I listened to motivational speakers and self-help and all kinds of stuff while I clean cat litter, because we have 6 cats and it takes me like 2 hours to do it. And so I look at it as getting my shit together, literally scooping the shit and getting my shit together. And one of the things in the podcast that they were talking today is about hubris and ego. So this is Arachne. Let's see if we can get the art a little better. Brand new deck, so it's still a little glary.
I love the silver lining on the sides of the cards.
Yeah. So, in the podcast that I was listening to while I was scooping shit, keeping it real, it was talking about how your ego is important, that it protects you from things that could hurt you. But at the same token, don't let your ego turn into hubris. Don't be so into yourself that you're not willing to learn. And that look at every situation as a challenge, as an opportunity, instead of a problem. There's always a way to learn. And if you let your hubris get in the way, you won't learn, basically. So, yeah. So let's look at what the book has to say. I thought that was interesting that here she is. Okay. So this is what the book says. So only in oracle cards do you get a book. And it's like I said, it's more meditational and self-reflective than really, I guess, telling you the future or whatever. Okay. So it says, a weave of the web, light or dark, the choice is free to make one's mark. Bragging is no fun to hear. Its shadow only throws up fear. By the power of the dark goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. So, dark goddess guidance. You have been spinning a web of deceit and you've become caught in the hubris that is your life. Ooh. See, this is why I'm calling this the bad bitches oracle, man. They do not hold back. They're going to call your shit out. In truth, it has not been easy for you. Instead of shining your light brightly, you've hidden your gifts and abilities until now. The problem is the scales have tipped and there is no healthy balance. So now it seems you boast your greatness to anyone who will listen. Important to remember that nobody likes to show off. Your bragging and excessive pride will lead you to fall. However, Arachne shows just how you feel. Competing this world is not easy, and yet you have done well to promote yourself to the top of haughty superiority. As Arachne looks at you with her super skilled spider sight, only insecurity and self-doubt make an appearance. Your lack of self-confidence is clear to see, and it is the culprit behind your pomposity. Time to untangle yourself from this sticky web. So basically what she is saying is that sometimes people get so into their projected view, their projected reality, that you lose track of who you really are. And that can be really, really sad. And then, of course, with me being in showbiz, that becomes a really, really big problem because I'm playing in character on stage. And sometimes that line between being a character and a person can get blurred. So this is the foresight. It says, face your fear of spiders. Are you coming from an ego place or from the heart? Be careful not to brag. Don't try so hard. You will receive the recognition you deserve. Be the real you. Weave your life constructively. A spider indicates choices to be made. So, this, yeah, Rocky, you were so right. He's sitting over here in the corner.
Damn these mofos.
But this deck, the art is cheesy, but these bitches be biting. Let me tell. This is the Bad Bitch Tarot, or Bad Bitch Oracle. I keep saying that. It's an Oracle deck.
Basically, oh, would you like a reading from us? That'll be a pound of your flesh, please.
Yeah. I like the mean ones though, because they tell you like it is. That was the other thing we talked about last week, was that sometimes when a deck is too nice, it actually doesn't tell you the information that you actually need to know, because it's softening the blow so much that it just kind of like floats over the information. So, yeah, so this is a big call out if you have been really focused on your exterior motives, your exterior presentation, especially now that we're all quarantined in our home. You're really in a time of self-reflection right now. You're really in a time of, why are you doing what you're doing? And there's no one for you to show off to. There's no one for you to really there's no one to care if you get dressed or not in the morning. There's no one to care if you put your makeup on and brush your teeth and get into real clothes. And this is a point in time where it's really telling how well you actually take care of yourself for yourself.
Damn, baby, you look good.
So, wow, this is the first time I've put makeup on in a week. I do get up and get dressed every day and get clothes on and make a plan for myself. And I think that's really important. And I think that's a lot of what this is also talking about with the hubris, is that we're in a time where we're not able to do stuff for other people because we can't interact with other people. So if we're going to do something, we have to do it for ourselves. So take a quick moment and think about, right, Zaku, right. Yeah, people always want things to be nice and false, but harsh and real is way more important. You are totally right. You're definitely right. That's definitely true. I have learned to walk the path kind of in the middle of that, of being real and a little harsh and trying to be a little bit more politically correct. There will definitely be those out there that have told you, that have interacted with me, where I have failed in that mission. But yeah, so the hubris is really all of your external stuff is falling away right now because we're in quarantine. We're not interacting with other people. We're not performing for other people. And what I mean by performing is I don't mean necessarily in the literal sense like I do when I'm on stage. I mean the getting up and getting dressed and leaving the house so that you look good to your neighbors, so that you look good for your boss at home, so that you look good for whoever you're trying to impress. Right? Now, I don't know about you, but I know that if I've got like a lover or a friend coming over, I clean that house extra deep, right? Because I'm trying to impress them. So, but why are you doing it for them and not doing it for yourself? Right? And when you don't know how bad you're abusing yourself until you stop, and not being disciplined and like taking care of yourself and doing what's best for you is abuse. And I also think that can be a hard pill to swallow. So this is definitely a time to not look at the shallow things, not look at things that are superficial, and go deep, because there's no one there to impress right now. And if you're going to do it, now is the best opportunity to do so. So take advantage of your circumstances and go deep and really look at what hubris you might be having, and is it serving you? Because that's the real thing, is it serving you? Because if it's not serving you, then why is it still in your life? Why is it still an aspect of what's going on in your life if it's not serving you, right? So I think that's what Arachne is telling us today, is to really examine your life and figure out what you're doing on a superficial level for everybody else, and find out whether or not that serves you or not. Right, Kim? Ouch. Ouch. Big ouch for me too. This one hit a little bit home, not gonna lie. I'm gonna have to lick some wounds after this because girl got bit. But, yeah, this bitch be spitting. And this deck is, the art is a little cheesy, but I really, really actually like this deck. So I'm going to bitch about the art because that's what I do. Probably every damn time.
She's like, but that's the only thing I can do about this tarot deck.
Right.
This is so true. But your artwork sucks. Man, that's all I got.
That's all I got. That's all I got. But if you have an opportunity to get this deck, let me see. spiritvisions.co.uk. It's going to be mirrored, but you can still probably see it. Maybe not. Spirit Visions, all one word. Spirit Visions with an S.co.uk is the company that this is from. This is my shiny from my trip. I got a couple of shinies. I'll have to show you some more, but this is my witchy shiny that I picked up. And then Melissa's book you can buy directly from Melissa. You can also get it through Amazon and probably Llewellyn.com, I would imagine. I buy them directly from her, and then she graffitis all over them and stuff. So,
she wants you to know it was from her.
Yeah. So, she's an amazing human being, and when things open up again and we can have witchy stuff, she makes a lot of appearances in the St. Louis Witchy Circle. Okay, I'm gonna pick up the box for these. My bad bitches oracle.
The bad
all right.
Oracle that'll
So,
talk shit about your mama.
do you guys want the Vampire Tarot again? Is that what we're looking for? Is the Vampire Tarot? Because if nobody says, or Zombie Tarot. If nobody wants the Vampire Tarot, I'm going to do the Zombie Tarot. Yes, no, maybe?
Leave your comments in the comments section.
Leave your comments. I'm going to drink some tea while you all figure that out.
I hope I did it good. I'll take that as a yes.
Chai tea is amazing, especially when you make it from scratch.
You try that good?
Yeah, this is really good. So it's the Lisa wants the vampire. Okay. Deb, Melissa's last name is Sonova. It's Cynova. Cynova. And this is, if you just search kitchen table tarot, look for this graphic, this cover, and you'll find it. I'm sorry, it's mirrored. I'm using my cell phone. I don't have a good camera. Okay, so Lisa wins vampire, so I'm gonna grab the vampire deck, and I'll be right back.
Blah.
Blah. Oh. Okay.
Just like she predicted, I'd be a special guest.
Can you guys hear Rocky making his jokes in the background?
I think they can.
I don't know if you can or not, but... Okay, so this is my vampire deck. It's the Gothic Tarot, and it's all vampires. And it does have a book, but the book is separate. This is the book. And my friend Misty gave me this for my birthday. Oh God, years and years and years ago. And then picturing his face. And then someone else gave me the book. I can picture his face, but his name is blanking on me, and I feel like a terrible human being. But another person gave me this book to go with the deck, because the deck is a little bit hard to read. This particular deck is a little bit hard to read for beginners because it goes off of the Rider-Waite system just a tad bit. Okay, you guys can't hear Rocky. Okay.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
All right. So I did pick up the book from Joseph Vargo. It's driving me nuts that I can't remember his name. I'm picturing his face. He's the one that gave me the book. Anyways, he's a chef. He's an amazing person. He's a great dad.
Is it Jonathan Pena?
Yeah, Jonathan. Thank you. Jonathan, my chef Jonathan gave me the book that goes with the tarot deck. So my friend Misty gave me the tarot deck. Chef Jonathan gave me the book. I have aphasia, which means I forget names. So if you ever meet me in person and you're like, you don't know your name, it's because I can't remember it and your face is like flashing in my head. And I'm like, I know who you are, but I can't put a name to your face because that's part of my aphasia. So just so you know, Facebook actually makes it helpful if you have a profile picture that you update on a regular basis, then I can connect your picture to your name via Facebook, and that actually makes it easier for me to remember who you are. But if we've never met in person and if you come up to me, I'm not going to recognize you just from Facebook, you know? But yeah, I have a terrible time remembering names. It's just part of my thing. Okay, so I am shuffling the Vampire Tarot.
She's chefing him.
Shuffling.
I
Okay.
am
I figure if we're living in a Gothic horror right now, then we get to use Gothic horror tarot cards, right? I mean...
That's right, damn it.
Right? Okay, so... Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
Shuffle, shuffle.
I'm going to pick 3 cards. So there's the first one. Is that one. The second one is that one. And this one is the third. And then I'm going to pick one to grow on, right? Because that's how we do this. Growth is important. One to grow on. What is that one? The 10 of Pentacles. That's a good card. Okay. So because this deck is a little unique, so theme decks, as I talked about last week, are a little harder to use because of the theme, and they don't always connect to like the traditional Rider-Waite meanings. It's good to have a book, which I do have. Thank you, Chef Jonathan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the reading based off of the cards, tell you what my impressions are from these cards, and then I'm going to look them up in the book because it is a theme deck. And with theme decks, you get a little bit more information from the book than you do just from the cards. And then it also gives you new insight on how to interpret that card that maybe you wouldn't have done so in the past. So, okay. So the first card that we have is the Queen of Pentacles. So this is how they interpreted the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so she's big old vampire lady on her throne or on her pedestal, right? So I'm not getting a lot of information necessarily from the artwork. Hi, Christina. I'm not getting a lot of information from this artwork about what the Queen of Pentacles would mean just from this image, right? Now I can tell you from experience that the Queen of Pentacles is all about, not only is it about money, but it's money rules your life. And queens, their domain is the interior domain, that of the home, the hearth, things of that nature. They protect the realm from internal threats, while the king is focused on external threats. Okay? So this is focusing on internal issues with the realm of money, and usually in the inside, right? Internal issues of the realm of money. So that's just a really basic overview of what a Queen of Pentacles could mean in any deck whatsoever. So we're going to look this card up here in the book and see what the actual book has to say. So the next card I pulled was the 10 of Cups. So here's the 10 of Cups in the Vampire Tarot. Okay, a little glossy, a little glare. There we go. We can see it a little better that way. So you got the cups up across the top here, and you've got the vampire here feasting on somebody. Okay, so this deck is a little dark, guys, just so you know. Yeah. So this deck, this card that words. Let me get a sip of tea. Got a little tongue tied there. Rah. So. People just tuning in like, what's going on?
Welcome to my show.
So the traditional meaning of the 10 of Cups is essentially ultimate happiness, because 10s are a completion of the series. You've reached you've completed that journey. So from aces to 10, you're in a journey, and you're in different stages of that journey. And the 10 is the completion of that journey. This is a really simple explanation of how to read the number cards in tarot. So 10 would be the completion, and then cups are all about goals, happiness, things that you're excited about, things, your heart, these are the hearts. So like if I was reading with a regular playing card deck, this would be the 10 of hearts. Okay. So this is the realm of emotions and of the heart and things of that nature. So what is going on here is she is thoroughly happy draining her victim. And the victim is thoroughly happy to be drained because she's got the poison saliva and all of that, right? So this comes with a little bit of be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. It's a little bit of a side note with the Vampire Tarot. But again, we're going to look these up in the book and see what the book has to say, because the different theme decks give slightly different variations for the cards. And I know I keep saying this, but it helps to learn to read when you have theme decks like this, because it gives you different perspectives that you may not have gotten otherwise. Okay, so the last one that we drove was the Knave of Wands. And the knaves are, I believe they are knights. Knaves are knights, or are they the pages? See, sometimes it gets a little confusing. Give me just a moment. Let me double check. Nope. Knaves are pages. Okay. So we have the Page of Wands. So in this deck, they use the word knave instead of page. There we go. Get the glare. Oop, lots of glare. There we go. There you can see it. So there's a gargoyle here. And he's a horny dude with a skull. He's super happy. Oh, look, it's Rocky. Oh, well, now that explains everything, right? He's like, I didn't get my picture. He's like, fuck you, sugar. Fuck you.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't gonna say it outright on live TV, but since you did, I don't know.
Sherry, I'll have to look. They might be. I'll have to look. I only break this deck out for like special occasions, so I'm not extremely familiar with it. Yes, Rocky is totally a gargoyle. So, the Knave of Wands. So knaves are pages.
I'll take it.
Knaves are pages, and when you're thinking of a page is someone who is an apprentice to a knight. It's the best way to understand what a page is. And they're still learning their craft. They're still in the process of becoming an expert in whatever they're doing, right? So pages are still learning the craft of knighthood. So this is the card that comes right before knights. And so when you see a page, there's always that sense of naivety there. There's always that sense of eagerness and excitement and a little bit of inexperience. And maybe they know, but they don't really know because they don't quite have the experience. So this is the Knave of Wands, and then wands are all about work. Wands are about the work that you do, whether it's your day job or it's the work that you are meant to do here in life, that you're meant to do in this world. So when you get the Knave of Wands, it's saying that you're either starting a new job or you're being a little bit naive about the work that you're doing. And then the translation of that depends on what else is going on in the reading, right? Okay. So then, the one to grow on, or as I like to refer to it as, this is the signifier card that links all three cards together. So if you have a question about why does this card, like as a reader, because I know you guys probably haven't linked it together yet, I'm getting there. But as a reader, if you're having trouble linking the other cards together, this should be the card that pulls everything together. This is the common component between the three other cards. This is kind of your abbreviation or your shortcut about what the reading is about. And then the other three cards are going into detail about the different aspects. So this is a typical 3-card reading with a signifier. So really common reading. It's how I started. It's actually what I taught myself to read with. I don't read with the Celtic cross. It's a little too convoluted for me on a basic reading. Mommy, you came in a little late, but that's okay. We love you. It's the Gothic Tarot. And this is my vampire deck by Joseph Vargo. But thank you for coming in. It's by Monolith Graphics. If you can see that, Monolith Graphics. So, and this was a gift for me by my friend Misty. And then my friend Chef Jonathan got me the companion book because the deck, because it's a theme deck about vampires, it's a little difficult to read. And so I recommend getting the book.
My compliments to the chef.
Yes, my compliments to the chef. Yes. So the indicator card, as we were talking about earlier, is the 10 of Pentacles. So when we talked about the 10 of Cups, we talked about the 10 being the completion of a cycle. So you'll see that when you're reading tarot is there's several different cycles. You've got the cycles of the numbers, ace through 10. Then you have the cycle of the court cards, which is the page through king, and then you have the cycle of the trumps. And as you start to learn tarot, you really can learn it and break it down into sections, and then you can apply what you learn in one section to another section. You kind of start grouping like data together. So 10s are all about completion. So we had the 10 of Cups earlier, and this is the card that is unifying the rest of this reading, and this is the 10 of Pentacles. So now we've had 2 cards about Pentacles, and if you look, they both have archways, or gateways, right? And again, 10 is about completing a cycle, the end of a cycle. Usually, if you get the 10 of Pentacles in a reading, it means that what you are doing is working and you've got money coming towards you. Okay? So I can tell you from this reading right now, just looking at it, because this is like a group reading for kind of this week until next Tuesday, and kind of giving you some insight on what to look for in a general sense. Because if you want one-on-one, you tip me and I'll do a private reading for you. But this is saying that everybody's concerned about money in their personal lives, right? Which duh, because what are we going through right now? But to focus on happiness in your personal life, to focus on home and hearth and making the best of what you have right now. That if you focus on what you have and gratitude, you'll see how abundant that you are and how much you actually have versus what you were missing, right? The Knight of Wands is talking about being a little naive when it comes to work, that maybe we as a society have been a little naive about our work compulsion and our work consumption, and that perhaps everything that we're going through right now is actually a blessing, because it's making us reevaluate and rethink our priorities. And we don't realize how powerful we are on a political level as each person, as when we gather and we rally as a group of people, we are so strong and so powerful. And if all of us are at home taking stock of what we have and taking value of what we have, and we're realizing that the system that we have is broken, and I'm not going to get too political here, maybe a little too late, but I'm going to try not to get too political. But if we all realize how broken it is and everybody wakes up because of this virus, think about how much of a blessing that's going to be, how much that's going to change our society. How
would you like your rich, medium, or well?
Right. I don't know if you heard Rocky a lot, but he was like, how would you like to eat your rich, medium, or well done? So, but I think a lot of people are breaking out of that work, buy mentality, because we're not able to work and we're not able to buy. And we're realizing that those were just stopgaps for real happiness and pleasure in our life. They were just filler, and not quality filler either. And so I really think that that's what this is really talking about. And that in the end, when we come through all of this, we are really going to realize not only how much we have, but how much we're capable of having in a meaningful way. And so this is what my intuitive reading is based off of this message right here. Okay. So now I'm going to go into this lovely book. And in this deck, because I know someone asked me last week, the Oracle cards, the book comes with the deck, but the Oracle decks are more expensive. The tarot cards are a little bit cheaper, but you have to typically buy the nice book and the deck separately. Okay, so first I'm going to go into the Queen of Pentacles in this book because the artwork in these decks is so important. It gives so much information that you wouldn't necessarily have unless you were reading it from the point of view of the artist and the author that put this together. Okay, so bear with me while I find Pentacles. Here we go. Okay, so, Queen of Pentacles. Right. Thank you, Sherry. You were totally correct. You were totally right on that. All right, so Queen of Pentacles, a practical nature, liberated, secure, intelligent, enjoying opulence and financial comfort, generous with gifts. The divinatory meaning. The Queen of Pentacles is a prestigious and ambitious woman who is driven to acquire great power and riches. Unrestrained by the conventions that limit the average person, she can rise to great heights to achieve things that seem unattainable. She does not allow others to deter her and often pursues eccentric routes to attain her dreams. She has much to offer and bestows her gifts upon those whom she dreams worthy. Although she is accustomed to a lavish lifestyle, she also exhibits a practical nature. It is this card is, okay, so then it goes into the reversal, which we're not really doing a lot of reversals right now because 78 cards is a lot when you start reversing them and there's over 150. I can do it, but I'm not doing that to you guys.
I just shared your video and now you're getting more people.
Yay! Welcome. So then there's a brief description on what the artist intended for this particular card. Okay, so for those just joining, we're talking about the Queen of Pentacles and the Gothic Tarot. This is what she is. She's a vampire. I asked everybody if they wanted a tarot reading from zombies or vampires, because if we're living in a Gothic horror, we may as well enjoy ourselves. And they chose the vampire deck. So here we go. So this is the artist's description of what they wanted in the Queen of Pentacles. And this is why the book is so important, because this is a really simple drawing. There's not a whole lot going on here to give indication of what this card means. Now, I know because I know what the Queen of Pentacles means across all Rider-Waite decks. But if I just looked at this card, I don't necessarily have a whole lot of information to go off of. So this is what the artist is saying that they are drawing in this deck. An alluring vampire queen spreads her demonic wings as she stands before an ornate archway. A pagan pentagram is displayed behind her, signifying that she commands the mystical powers of the universe. The Queen of Pentacles represents a liberated female who is driven by her own lofty ambitions. She is wealthy and wise, passionate and strong, and although she respects the voice of reason, she harbors an insatiable thirst for power in the material realm. Though her methods are perceived as being unorthodox, her instinct urges have led her to much success. Okay, so a woman of substantial means, the Queen of Pentacles is generous with her wealth. She often graces her loyal associates with dark gifts, enabling them to share in her opulent lifestyle. Her vampire wings enable her to rise to unimaginable heights, and as she rises, she is secure in the abilities to overcome any adversity and attain things beyond most men's dreams. Though she possesses a wealth of knowledge and intelligence, she may exhibit eccentric tendencies. So now that we know what the author intended with this image, we can look at this image and now gain more insight from it. So she uses her wings to rise above, which weren't we talking about that a little bit earlier tonight, right? Just earlier, if you fast forward to the video, we were talking about that a couple minutes ago, about rising above challenges. And it talks about how she uses unorthodox ways of doing that. So the archway is, and the pinnacle is using unorthodox means to rise above. And I think it's really important right now to think outside of the box. I'm going to get some more tea because I'm talking a lot.
Oh, we're sipping tea today.
Sipping tea. Oh, this is the mug for today. This is my favorite mug. It's different than last week. This holds about 18 ounces of coffee. You know you're a coffee drinker when this is your coffee mug. Okay. Or tea. It's after 3. I drink tea after 3. So back to the card. So it talks about her unorthodox means and unorthodox ways of getting things done. And I think it's really important in this time right now that we're in to really think outside of the box. What do you have available to you to make things work that you might not realize that isn't maybe a traditional stream of income or a traditional way of doing things? And what can you do to help that? I'm doing live streams. You can tip me via Facebook or PayPal, just so you know.
Shameless plugging.
Shameless plug, because closed mouths don't get fed.
This motherfucker be spitting croissants everywhere.
Okay, so that's basically what the Queen of Pentacles is telling us, is to rise above and sink your teeth in deep. So she is the Queen of Demons in this deck, okay? So next we have the Ten of Cups. So we talked about this being the completion of happiness, succeeding in important goals, things of that nature. So let's take a look at what the book has to tell us in comparison to the general overarching message that the Ten of Cups has, no matter what deck you are using. So go back to my book.
Man, I'm glad I started this watch party.
Yay! Welcome everybody. If you scroll back to the beginning of the video, you'll see me get called the F out by my oracle cards. Just saying.
They're like, oh my god.
So there's a big version of the Ten of Cups from the book. It's not so shiny. You can probably see a little bit better. Okay. So, hi guys. Okay. Get this rolled up. Okay. So here it says, the heart at ease, a content family life, inner peace and tranquility, love, safety, and completion. Important interest being looked after. Okay. So, and the artist describes the image, an enchanting succubus with demonic wings stands over her human lover as she lays unconscious. As he lays, she could be a lesbian, but as he lays unconscious. 10 jeweled chalices reside above the background archway, signifying a place of blissful contentment. The stone altar upon which the male figure lays is adorned with human skulls, suggesting the tranquility of the grave. Or, they just have goth fashion sense. Just saying. The image of the bat sculpted into the stone of the central arch reflects the female bat-like wings, designating this a crypt as her home and private sanctum. The abundant chalices that adorn the crypt also denote the achievement of personal goal that is very important. The healing properties associated with the Suit of Cups are amplified to their maximum potential, signifying that you will find peace and rejuvenation at a familiar place of comfort. So that sounds great. Healing, peace, rejuvenation at a place of comfort. You mean your home?
This couch is pretty comfy.
That I don't know about you, but it sounds like my house. It could be a grave. You don't know who died here.
I mean, we are by the Exorcist.
I'm not admitting to anything.
I'm not saying a damn thing. I'm gonna live. I mean, first the croissant, now this.
There's no witnesses if one of them is dead.
Well, this Tarot Tuesday got real interesting real quick.
Okay, so the Ten of Cups represents romantic stability and dedication of companionship. The pose of the two figures suggests that the female vampire may be bringing her lover across the threshold of death, so that they may share an immortal life together.
Girl, you're killing me.
This revitalization of spirit comes only after a duration of rest and transition. A serene period of relaxation leads to inner awakening. Again, that's what I was talking about earlier. Bam! Bam!
Bam!
I said bam!
What the...
So, revitalization of spirit comes only after a duration of rest and transition. So, we are in transition. We are in transition, and change can be scary.
Or bam!
Change can be scary, but it will lead to inner awakenings. Again, I was just talking about that shit. Okay, let's go to the Knave. And to answer your question earlier, Sherry, this is the Knave of Swords. So yes, I do believe all the knaves in this deck are gargoyles. This is where I need music, background music. I need some background music. I don't have any, so you're gonna hear me say random shit until I find what I'm looking for.
Oh, I am.
All right, Knave of Wands. So we talked about the knaves being pages or apprentices in their job of knighthood. So they're still learning. They're still learning the job. They're still learning how to do the thing that they are supposed to be doing. And that wands are actually about work. They're about the work that you do, whether it's your day job or your life's mission, either way. And that when you're, the Knave of Wands means naivety or newness around work. Okay? So, let's see what the fabulous book has to say about the Knave of Wands. A diabolical gargoyle clutches his skull in his right hand, while his left hand grips a tall wand to stabilize himself on his stone perch.
Why are they going to talk about me like that?
It's Rocky! He displays the herald scepter, signifying that he is a trusted messenger who brings unexpected news. The grim memento he gaps in his other hand is a reminder of his brooding power over men. The Knave of Wands is a brutally honest and extremely loyal. However, if he were to become an enemy, he possesses traits that would make him a fierce adversary.
Oh shit, they spitting about me.
They are spitting about Rocky. Woo! The Knave of Wands message is of personal nature, and it is most often beneficial and quite significant. His ferocious maw hangs open as if about to impart some crucial information, and despite his devilish appearance, the fact that he does not possess a forked tongue indicates he speaks the truth. This card can also represent one who is inexperienced in romantic pursuits, but eager to learn the mysteries of the heart. Do I smell a virgin? I smell a virgin. What? Inexperienced in romantic pursuits and wants to learn the mysteries of the heart? If that's not a virgin, I don't know what is. I smell a virgin. Okay. Possessing a natural innocence tempered with devotion and loyalty, the Knave of Wands suggests a passionate partner in the love arena. So you can see how this book differs a little bit from the meaning that I was getting. This is more talking about someone who's a little naive coming into you as a possible relationship partner or as a person in general. That is a typical way to read court cards, as if court cards are people. I don't always read court cards as if they are people because they don't always talk about people. Sometimes having it be a specific person in your life isn't applicable to the reading that we are doing. So, but I really like the contrast that this deck gives to, did Rocky fart? No, that was him laughing. He sounds like a tuba when he farts. Sorry, Zaku. All right, so the last card.
Everyone wanted to know that, but hey.
The last card is the Ten of Pentacles. And I said that this is a completion of a cycle having to do with finances and finding comfort, right? Finding comfort and financial stability, which I know is unusual right now. But remember how we were talking about thinking outside of the box, finding wealth where you did not realize you had it, having gratitude. That's where this is all coming from, right? This isn't, the checks getting your deposit. I mean, it could be, but let's be real. Okay. So, here's Sherry. There's another gargoyle for the Knave of Pentacles. So I guess Sherry's going to be picking this deck up. Get the book, because the cards are hard to read without the book, because the imagery is obviously not traditional Rider-Waite, so it can be a little confusing. Okay. This is Sugar Turning Pages. Welcome to the Turning Pages channel. Okay. So we're talking about the Ten of Pentacles here, and we're going to read the artist description in the book to see how it compares to my translation in the reading that I did earlier. Okay. A brooding vampire carries his unconscious lover across the threshold of his dark domain. The 10 of pentagrams are engraved into the stones of the archway, signifying a mystical barrier of good fortune. The chiseled blocks form a reliable and secure structure, and the sculpted bat that adorns the keystone of the arch identifies this place as a vampire sanctum retreat. The 10 of Pentacles signifies the reward of your labors and the total achievement of your lifetime goals. You may also denote the comforts of a stable home. You may rely upon the strength of your family and loved ones to carry you through a period of emotional or physical strain. Those closest to you will lend support when you need them most. The abundance of pentacles that adorn the sturdy arch signify wealth and stability, suggesting that you will soon enjoy a substantial monetary gain. It also signifies that your current relationship is strong and built upon a solid foundation. This emotional security contributes to the realization of a dream that you've been working toward for a long time. You have built an enduring legacy, and your destiny is well within your grasp. Okay, so that's actually pretty close to what I was just saying. So you can see that these are all kind of based off of the Rider-Waite symbology and the traditional Rider-Waite deck, but that the different theme decks can kind of have their own personality. Sherry, this is the Gothic Tarot by Joseph Vargo. This was a gift to me from my friend Misty, and then my friend Chef Jonathan gave me the book for it, because when I had this deck for probably about 10 years before I got the book, and I could read with the deck, but I couldn't get a good clear reading off of the deck without the book, because it does differ slightly from traditional Rider-Waite. And that was one of the things I was explaining in this, is I did a reading just off of my intuition and my knowledge and experience. And then I went back and I looked up the cards in the book to give further insights of what was written by the author for this deck in comparison to what I picked up, so that we can learn a little bit of the differences and what they were looking for. Because even as a seasoned reader, I always learn something new when I do that. When I compare and contrast the way that I would define something and to the way that I look it up in a book. And this is what I do for myself in my own personal readings, when I'm just trying to study and learn and get more knowledgeable in the art of reading tarot. So,
speaking of tarot, you should give them a reminder that...
Oh, yeah. So, Rocky, if you can't hear him, sometimes you can hear him, sometimes you can't, depending on how loud his ass is. So that's Rocky's way of reminding you that I am doing tarot readings live in this chat. If you are interested in having a reading, you just need to tip me via PayPal or Facebook Pay. Do comment that you have tipped me so that I can double check that and verify that. Because if you just send me money and don't tell me, I won't notice. But I can pull it up and verify on my computer here if you decide to do that. And we are in that section now. So if anybody would like a live reading, all you need to do is tip me. If you would like a private reading, then it's $25 and I can do a private reading outside of live. But if I know $25 is a lot for people right now. So if you would like to have a public reading, I can do that as we speak, and then you can share it with everybody that is watching. So, and I will be using my Rider-Waite tarot for actual readings, because this is what I like to read for with customers, unless they specifically request a different themed deck or something along those lines, because I find that this is the most neutral when it comes to tarot readings, that this is the most, it doesn't have an opinion about your stuff when I'm doing the reading. So I started reading with the Tarot of the Cat People, and that deck did not like, it didn't like relationship reading. So every time someone would come to me for a relationship reading, I would have trouble when that was the only deck that I had, because the cat deck was like, I don't give a shit about your relationships. Let's talk about your problems and not your relationship problems, all your other shit. And so, I since learned that different decks have different personalities and things of that. Yeah, feel free to stay on, Sherry, and hang out with us. You're welcome to, and thank you so much for joining us. I know it's been forever since we've gotten to chat, because I know you're down in the south down there. I don't remember exactly, Mississippi maybe, Alabama, somewhere in that region. I know you through Foss, but I don't know where you actually live. Sorry. But
wouldn't it be weird if she said California?
Yeah, that would be weird if she said California. Okay. So, I thought I saw someone said that they wanted a reading. I'm double checking right now. Here we go. Wait. I'm confused. Hold on, I got too much stuff going on. Okay, let me... Oh, sweet. Okay, so yes, so Jessica wants a reading, so I'm going to do a reading for Jessica. Tennessee, okay, I didn't want to assume, I knew you through Festival of Souls, but I didn't know if you were actually from Tennessee or if you were from one of the neighboring states. I apologize. Okay, so I'm going to do a reading here for Jessica. And so I'm going to use my Rider-Waite. So Jessica, while you are watching, I want you to focus on what you want from this reading, what message that you need to hear, what you would like to learn. And I'm just going to shuffle these cards. I like to shuffle a whole lot when I'm reading. I feel like it wakes the cards up. It lets them know it's time to work. Like, bitch, you're going to work now. It's time to work. Gotta shake off. You gotta shake that dust off, right? I am pretty rough on my cards. They are working cards. These are working cards. These are not,
And sometimes the cards look at you and go, fuck off, I'm still on break.
Lisa, yes, you can send me a request through Messenger. The live readings are by tip basis, so if you want a reading during the live session, you may tip me any amount, and I will give you a reading. Outside of this, I make appointments, and it's $25 for online readings. Once we are no longer quarantined, it is $50 for personal readings because I charge you twice as much if I gotta put pants on and leave my house.
I'll put pants on, but you gotta pay.
It's true. It's true. Because if I'm doing an in-person reading, I have to meet you at a coffee house, and then I have to support the coffee house. So if you want an in-person reading, it's twice as much.
And
so
my coffee addiction. It's pretty bad.
Right? I want to pay, because by the time I buy, like, if I'm meeting somebody at a coffee house and doing a reading, by the time I buy coffee and a little sandwich or something, because I'm not going to use the space and not buy anything, then I've already, used most of what I make off the reading. So if I gotta put pants on, it's gonna cost you more. Okay. So
These are my favorite pants, too. I stuffed them on my way out. Hey.
So this is for Jessica. Okay, so let's focus here.
Sorry.
Rocky's being a goofy boy. Okay, so... Okay, so I'm going to grab, this is the first card. This is King of Cups. Second card. Ooh, we got Ten of Pentacles again. Look at that. And this is a much better image for Ten of Pentacles to kind of tell you what the card actually means. The visual is much more easier to interpret. And card number 3. Pick a card, any card. Let's go with this one. Seven of Cups. This way, yeah, that way. Okay. Ooh. All right, and then top card. This is the indicator card, 3 of Swords. Okay. We're going to set those bad boys to the side. So, the first thing we're going to talk about is the King of Cups. So, he is sitting on his throne. He's all happy. We got some water in the background. So, it's kind of hard to tell through the camera lens, but there's some water back here. And there's a little ship and a sea monster. So there's the sea monster. And there is a pirate ship back here. And so he's the king of water, the king of cups, king of emotions and goals and things that are important to you. Okay. So right now you are sitting in your empire and you are looking over your realm of things that you have accomplished and your goals, and you're at a place of completion. You've actually finished a cycle. You finished a pretty good cycle. You've had some good stuff going on, and you're starting a new phase. So the next part of that is the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, and what you see is you got the pentacles all growing up here across this archway, and you got this happy couple here, and then this tower back here watching the tower, right? So so the Ten of Pentacles again is a completion. It's a happiness. It's like what we read in the previous reading about the Ten of Pentacles, about it coming to completion and safety and solitude and home and hearth and all of that, and having those things. So these are pretty good cards to get. The King of Cups is happiness in your realm of things that are important to you, having financial stability and things of that nature. And then we come to the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups is where it gets interesting. So I'm going to show you this. So in the Seven of Cups, there's the person here in the front, and then you've got these 7 different cups here. Okay, and these are all of your goals, all of your motivations, all of the things that are important to you, right? And it's hard to tell with the camera, but like this is a cup of snakes, you know, this is a cup of insects, this is you know, some of these are good things and some of these are bad things, okay? But you don't necessarily know what's in the cups. You just see the cups, and these are your choices before you. And you're trying to decide what is good for you and what is not good for you and what you want your next direction to be. And so I actually think that these two cards are going to be the most important cards in this reading. And the reason why I say that is these kind of tell us where you've been, where you're at now, when we kind of already know that you've kind of finished you're kind of in a stable section of your life right now, but you're ready to move on to the next section, and you've got some choices to make. You can't stay here because staying here would not be a healthy decision, okay? So you have to move on from this place, and you've had a pretty good run of it. So it's time to move on to the next place where you need to go. And you've got some tough choices to make. You need to prioritize. You need to, James, I'll get to that in just a second. I'll tell you how to do that. Basically, you go in through Messenger, and then you just connect a debit or a credit card through Messenger, and then you can just send it to me that way. Okay? So, Jess, this is talking about your next step. And with this card coming into play, the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords is a rough card to get. Obviously, it's three swords stabbing a heart. And it can mean betrayal. It can mean broken heart. Things of that nature. And so what these two are saying is that you've had a really good run. You've had a really good go at things, and things have been really, really successful. But these next few steps that you have are going to be a little treacherous. So slow down. Slow way, 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 way down. Don't stop, because stagnation is death, right? So you need to keep moving. You need to keep moving forward, but do your due diligence. Know that some of these options are worse for you than others. Some of these are really, really bad, and they may look good on the outside, but you need to do your due diligence about those, and that be mindful of this heartbreak, because what you think is a really good option probably isn't. It's probably shit covered in gold. I hate to say it that way, but that's what this is saying, is that things have been so good for you for a while that there's promise of more of that coming down to the pipeline, and that promise is not real. So, really be careful about what your next couple of steps are going to be, because what choices you make right now are going to have a really large impact on what your next couple of months, maybe a couple of years are going to be. And really examine everything and prioritize, and really take note on all the aspects of the different choices that you have, because it's not what you think it's going to be. Okay, so I hope that was clear. If you have any questions, feel free to message me privately, or you can post here. I do guarantee my readings, so that if it doesn't connect at all, I will redraw and redo the reading for you. And I can either do that here now, or I can do it offline, either way. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, let me know. So I want to, let me see. James, did you get that figured out? Let me check. That was not the button I meant to press. Using a left-handed mouse on the left hand. Oh, good. Okay, it did connect. Yay. Okay. So James, I'm gonna, hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna message James. Whoop. That is not going to. Why are you not giving me what I want you to give me? There we go. And of course, this is over here. Gotta move you guys just for a second. Okay. James. So, okay, so let me message him right quick, and then I will get on to the next thing. All right, so I wanted to briefly give you a little tarot lesson while I'm basically waiting for the next person who would like a reading. So how do I want to do this? There's one of the easiest ways to learn tarot is to break it up into groups. So I'm going to use my Rider-Waite because, again, this is the main deck that most tarot is based off of. There's a few, like the Masai and the Lenormand. I can't say it. I have to just look at it. They are slightly different types of decks, and they're still considered tarot. But the main tarot that most people are familiar with is based off of Rider-Waite. This is the Rider-Waite Smith deck, which was based off of, which was consigned by Mr. Rider and Mr. Waite for Pamela Smith to draw. They were members of the Golden Dawn. The Golden Dawn is a occult tradition, and the images in this deck are based off of knowledge from the occult tradition, the Golden Dawn. So, if you are wondering where this came from, it originally came from the Golden Dawn. It was originally not released for the public. It was a private divination device for those members of the Golden Dawn, and you had to be a certified member to get a deck to even use these. So, and a lot of people don't know, I guess, the history of that. And Pamela Smith, as we were talking about earlier, the artist, gets forgotten a lot in history because the Golden Dawn was an occult men's society, and women weren't really allowed. So, 19th century, guys, yeah.
This is my treehouse, man.
So I'm going to give you a brief tarot lesson, so give me a moment. I'm going to grab different cards. This is perfect. And, ooh, yeah, that is good too. And of course, so there's 4 suits in tarot, which is Pentacles, Wands, Cups, and Wands, Cups, and Swords. Okay? So just like in regular playing cards. And each suit, or you can think of as like a house, represents different things. So all pentacles represent money. And then pentacles can be coins or discs or any kind of round object in tarot cards, depending on how the artist wants to interpret it. That's the one that gets mixed up the most. And pentacles typically represent money or financial means or financial stability, things of that nature. So this is the suit. This is Pentacles. This is the suit that is ran by the house of money. Money rules their lives. So when I first started reading tarot, for me, I thought of Pentacles as the house of wealth. Well, actually, it's not. Pentacles is the house of the working class. The wealth don't think about money. They have money. Money doesn't necessarily rule their lives. Other thing rules their lives. But the working class, the working poor, the people that have to work every single day for their money is ruled by their money. And that is what the Pentacles, that's the house of the Pentacles. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Swords. Swords, so this is the Six of Swords. Swords is actually, the House of Swords is actually the wealth, the nobility, because in medieval times, this is based off of the concept of a feudal system, and in medieval times, nobility, they were concerned with power. They were concerned with the power structure, maintaining their power, keeping their power, growing more power. And that power didn't have anything to do with money. It had to do with the ability to defend themselves and fight. And only the nobility in medieval times were allowed to have and own swords. It's why daggers existed, because a sword was from like 3 feet to 5 feet, and a dagger could only be up to like 2.5 feet, because anybody could own a dagger, but in order to own a sword, you had to be of a noble house. So swords is all about the family of nobility. And so when you think about that, you think of it's about power. It's about the power structure and where you're at in the power structure. So anytime you're dealing with swords, in the whole tarot deck, if a sword comes up, you're dealing with something that has to do with power. Okay?
And now you get a black cat.
Yeah, I got my Salem over here. He might jump in my lap. He's a little brat head. Wands. So this is the 8 of Wands. Wands are about work. So when you're dealing with the houses in tarot, again, we're dealing with a medieval feudal system. If you think of it like you're telling a story in that concept, it makes it a little bit easier to understand. The wands were the merchants, because the wands could be a working tool or a defense tool. The wand could defy boundaries. When you had a wand, it was a staff or a wand. You could use it while you're working all day long at your job, but you could also defend yourself with it. It also could be a weapon. And so under the noble house of swords, you've got the merchant house of wands, those that are working for a living, and they've kind of allowed them to be slightly different. They've managed to move classes, if you will. Okay. Yeah, I got a kitty praying on me. Okay, and then wands also represent passion. So because in order to work really hard, in order to move outside of your class and into a new class, you have to be really passionate about what you're doing. So this deck isn't a good example because the wands on this like have leaves and stuff and they look like tree branches. But a lot of times the wands will have a fire, like it'll look like a torch on the end. And that's how you could know that that's the element of fire. That's the element of passion, things of that nature. And some authors like to mix things up and switch things around. So this is not always going to be the case. Just so you know, nothing is 100% ever, just like the English language. There's always exceptions to the rule.
Eat.
Okay. Swords, wands, pentacles. Was that all of them? Pentacles, swords. Oh, and cups. Do I have a cup? I need a cup. Ah, look at that. 2 cups. Cups. So, cups is all about royalty and the royal class, and they don't have to worry about power. They don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about working for passion because they have all of those things. So if they have all of those things, what do they have to worry about? Well, they have to worry about their own personal goals and attainment. And that is what cups is all about. So cups is the royalty, is the house of royalty in the feudal system. And when they come up in a deck, it's talking about what your internal motivations are, your internal goals, and it is water. So you've got earth, air, fire, water, and that's pentacles, swords, wands, and cups. Okay, so once you learn that, now you have an overarching theme for all the cups, all the pentacles, all the swords, all the wands. Okay, Are you taking notes? Because I'm spewing a lot of knowledge. Okay, so that's
Take notes, Claire.
so that's how the first level of understanding tarot is understanding the 4 suits or the 4 houses. Okay, then you want to learn the number system. So the number system, now these have, because this is the Rider-Waite, so they have Roman numerals here. So this guy is the 7 and this guy is the 6. Right? 7 of Pentacles and 6 of Swords. So the number systems, think of them as even and odd. Typically, if it's an even number, it's going to be positive things. Like 2s are choices and decisions. 4s are stability. 6s are, what's the term? Gratuity, or giving things away, having enough to give away. 8s are reaping what you sow, and then 10s are completion, benefiting, getting all the benefits of that cycle. Versus odds tend to be negative things. So when you're looking, when you're reading the numbers, and it's 1 through 10, it's going to be, evens tend to be good things and odds tend to be bad things. Okay, so the Ace of Swords means you're thinking too much. You've got too much going on in your head, because swords are power or knowledge, because knowledge is power.
The more you know.
The more you know. Study hard, be evil. Anyways. Okay, and so you break it down into groups, and this is how you can understand and learn all this stuff, because there are 78 cards. They each mean different things, and then when you start getting reversals, that's like 162 different meanings, and then each deck is going to have variations on that. So this is kind of how you can start learning all of this, is by breaking it down into groups and knowing what the group is. So that when I look at this card, I think, oh, he's a page. What do I know about pages? Pages are the apprentice to knights. Well, what do knights do? Well, knights are learning battle. They move around a lot because they're on their horses. So pages are learning all that thing. They're apprentices. Well, what are people that are learning things that are brand new? They're a little naive because they don't have any experience yet, right? Wands. Okay, well, tell me about wands. Well, wands are your passion. Wands are your work. Wands are what allows you to change from one class to another. Wands are what allow you to raise your elevation, whether that's raising your elevation through working a job that pays you really well, or doing your life's work that you're put here on earth to do that raises your heart place, right? So breaking it down like that. Okay, so that's how you learn the tarot. So we started with the number system. So you've got the evens and the odds. Evens usually mean good things. Odds usually mean bad things. And you've got 1 through 10. 10 is a completion of the cycle. This is an ongoing meaning. You will see completion in every single one of these cards. So then you have the court cards, which are page, knights, queens, and kings. And these make it easier to understand if you think of it like the feudal system. What are their jobs in the feudal world, right? The pages are apprenticed to knights. Knights are defenders of the realm. Queens look after internal affairs, and kings protect the realm from external threat. Then you compare that to, are they the pentacle? Are they the wand? Are they the chalice? Are they, what is their house? Okay, so that's how you learn the court cards. This is like a really abbreviated, quick way to learn these, is to start memorizing or remembering some of this stuff. The next is the trump cards. Also, kings, let me go back to that. I was talking about completion is the end of a cycle. Give me a king. That is a chariot. That is not a king. That is a moon. You keep giving me trump cards. We don't like Trump in this house. Okay, it's not going to give me one. That's fine. So here's a queen. So kings not... Let me go back. Let me get some tea. Take a moment. Drink some tea.
Sip that tea, baby.
Okay. So from pages or knaves to king in the court, that's also a cycle. Okay? So you have the 8 through 10, that is a cycle. Then you have the page through the king, and that is a cycle. And when you're doing readings, every person is at some place in that cycle. When you are a page, you're very new, you're very young, you're just beginning to learn this thing, whether it's a new job or you're just starting school or you're in a new cycle of your life. When you're a king, that's the end of that cycle. It's a completion. You've finished that cycle, and the next part in the phase after king is going to be page again, because it's a cycle. It's cyclical. And that concept echoes again in the trump cards. Now, my friend Trish the Dish, has a really great way to learn trump cards. She does a thing, she hasn't done it in years and years, but this is how I met her and got to know her, is she did a thing at Pagan Picnic called Living Tarot, where she would have each person represent the different 22 trumps of the tarot, and then we were like actors, and then people coming into the event could visit and get knowledge and wisdom from each of the 22 trumps.
That was actually really fun.
And it was a really, really neat thing, and she totally needs to bring it back, and I've been begging her to bring it back for years and years. She's not on social media, so she won't even see this, but it really gives a really neat perspective, and it's based off of the concept of the Wheel of the Fool, or the Fool's Journey. So I didn't grab my Fool because I'm not pulling apart my whole deck, but 22 trumps starts with the Fool, which is 0, and ends with the World, which is 22. And that is another cycle. And these 22 cards represent a deeper, more in-depth version of the cycles Ace through 10 and Page through King. And so then they also coordinate with the different suits of, or houses of the deck as well. And these you really have to learn each one on their own. Like this one is the Hanged Man. The Hangman, I always think of, you can think of the Hangman as of Jesus hanging on the cross. His image is more particular to that of Odin, hanging upside down with his leg in the 4 position. That is also a yoga position when doing yoga. It's a balancing pose called the tree pose. These things kind of all start to connect after a while. When you start to studying them, you start realizing all of the connections of the universe and that everything is really connected. So this is about sacrifice for knowledge. This is about giving something up to get something in return. And sacrifice, we have a weird concept about sacrifice here in the West. Sacrifice should be something very meaningful to you. It should hurt a little bit, but it should be worth the pain. So it's something that you have to work really, really hard for, and put a lot of time and energy to get good results back. And yeah, blood, sweat, and tears to get knowledge. That's what the Hangman says. The Devil is all about facing your inner demons. So, so this is temptation. This is things that bring you, distraction, things, insecurities, things that make you stray from the path that you're meant to be on. So each of the 22 cards has different intense meanings, and they echo the meaning in the suit and in the court cards. And that's actually why you can read with the 52 card playing deck. You don't necessarily need these 22 trump cards. The 52 card playing deck has all the information you need in it. It's just that these trump cards give you a deeper insight on what's going on. These two are my favorite. This is the Magician, and he has all 4 elements in here. The chalice, the wand, the sword, and the pentacle there on the table. And this is one of my favorite meanings because basically this says you have everything that you need to make your universe happen at your disposal. You just need to do it. You have all the tools available. You just need to put it together. And the second favorite card is Strength. And this is what I'm going to leave you on today until next week. And this card is saying that you are stronger than you realize. You have more strength than you ever considered, and that this is all about internal strength. She's got a lion by the head, but what is she doing? She's hugging it, right? All of the strength to tame a lion. And if you look, they both have that infinity symbol over their head. You see that?
Kitty.
And that means is that we are a part of a cycle, that we are never ending, and that even though we can reach completion, the next phase is just around the corner, and that we will always be born again, always renewing, always learning, always being, and that we have more power than we realize and more strength than we've ever considered. So I'm going to leave you guys on that note. And I love you all, and I will see you next Tuesday at 6:30 for tea and tarot. Tonight's tea was chai with cinnamon, cardamom, and ginger. A little bit of milk. I like a spicy flavor. And thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you next week. I love you. Mwah. Bye, guys.